Hello and welcome to the Blackchapel kitchen. Today we're going to be making some excellent old-fashioned donuts with a condensed milk glaze. Now firstly we're going to want to start combining our ingredients. I've done slightly differently than one recipe on the blog, but please look there for all the ingredients. So first I'm going to take my sugar and then I'm going to add my butter in, and we're going to cream those together. And just very roughly with a spatula there is quite a lot of mixing in this recipe, so eventually that's going to get very evenly mixed through everything. Now next we're going to add in our egg and give that all a mix together. So essentially what we're doing here is we're creating the more liquidy part of the batter, and then we're going to fold in the flour at the end. And either way, this way or the way from the blog, does work very well. Having tried both on multiple occasions. And now for the next part, we're going to be wanting to add in our sour cream. Now sour cream is going to add the fat component to this recipe, and it does make it truly delicious, but it's a lot heavier a donut than your traditional yeasted donut. However, it's definitely, in my opinion, better than those donuts. Now just give that a good mix and get everything well incorporated. And the next part is going to be starting adding in more of our dried ingredients. First starting off with our salt and also with our baking powder as well. That's going to give it the rise. Give that a mix together there before then going and folding in our flour. Now it does look like quite a lot of flour that you're adding, but trust me, as you incorporate this dough, it is a very wet dough to work with. So don't be tempted to add in any extra liquid at any point here or any extra sour cream, because otherwise you're going to have a nightmare rolling your dough. And you'll start to see here, as you start to bring your dough together, it does look quite dry, but that's what we are looking for. Do resist the temptation. Now the most important step now is to put that in the fridge for 20 minutes to 30 minutes. Before we go, and then after that 20 to 30 minute rest, take out and roll the dough. Now with your dough, roll it out to approximately a 2 centimeter thickness, and you'll notice here the dough is quite soft, so do add extra flour if you need. You will need some on your rolling pin, you will need some on your board, but if it is incredibly sticky, just add a little bit more flour and get that to a 2 centimeter thickness. And now to start thinking about how we're going to be cutting out our donuts. And I've just very simply used a scone cutter around about a 6 to 7 centimeter diameter. And you can buy specialized donut cutters. However, you can get off of this and then just simply use a pipe and bag nozzle to get out your inside hole. Now you're going to want to keep those inside holes to make donut holes, and once you have went through all this, just roll your dough again out to 2 centimeters to get more donuts. And then after you've got all your donuts and your donut holes, do just put this back in the fridge for at least 30 minutes, just to make it a lot easier for you to be able to drop your donuts into the hot oil for frying. Now whilst the dough is resting, we can start thinking about our icing. So we're going to want to take our icing sugar, and then to that we are going to want to add in our condensed milk. And if you do try and mix this together, it's going to be very difficult. It's not going to come together very well, so you do need to add a bit of milk to help bring it all together. Or alternatively, you can add water instead of milk, and just bring all this together. And once you do have a smooth icing made, you just want to cover this and leave it until you've fried your donuts. As it's great just to do it this time, just to make sure that when you do have your donuts fried, that you can dip them in just the right time to make sure that you do get a good glaze on them. And more importantly, an even glaze on them. Now for my frying setup here, I've just got my cast iron pan with vegetable oil heated to 180 degrees Celsius, and I do just have my electronic thermometer in there just to keep an eye on the temperature. Now you do want to do this in batches and not overcrowd the pan, because if you do that, then the temperature of the oil is going to dip down quite quickly and you're going to end up with soggy oil laden donuts, and that's not what we want. Now you do want to fry them for 2 minutes on each side for the donut rings and 1 minute on each side for the donut holes. And you can see here they do bubble along quite nicely. You can start to see some air bubbles being formed in them, and you get that lovely brown colour that you're looking for there. Just be very careful here with the hot oil, and just also have a wire rack set up for afterwards for removing these, so you can drain off any excess oil from the donuts. And at the end here, this is where you do need to move quick. After 1 minute of them being on the wire rack, do take them and dip them in the icing. And just do this, give it a good firm amount on it, and then leave them to cool. And once they're cooled, you will have some lovely condensed milk glazed old-fashioned donuts. And here are mine. And I can tell you, these are pretty great.